Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. Um, you know what? I want to start off with the scene that we left off yesterday, where Sonny pretty much had to explain himself to Michael and Josh about why he decided to keep this man in a refrigerator for like a whole night. Josh is just like, yo, I'm done. I'm tired. I want to call the cops. I want this guy put away. Michael's like, no, don't, I don't want to, I don't want to put our brother through that, arresting his own father. But Josh is just, she's had enough. Um, Dax is like, no, I don't want any cops or whatever. Let's just leave. Josh is just, Josh is pissed. She's pissed off at Sonny. She's pissed off at Dax for not wanting justice for herself. So she just walks out. Eventually, they all leave, and Sonny brings back in the torture. Here's the thing that I find so stupid about this scene, in a lot of ways, is that it's like, bro, you hired somebody who is a torturer, but you want to sit there and get upset with his methods. Oh, I didn't want you to sit there and force a confession out of him. I didn't want you to sit there and cut him up and stuff. What did you want then? Do you understand? It's almost as though this man doesn't understand the way that torture works. And when you bring in somebody whose skill set is to, um, extract information out of people by any means necessary, that's exactly what you're going to get. So the fact that he was whining and complaining about, oh, I can't believe, like, bro, seriously? He was like, oh, well, I'm not going to be needing your services anymore. Yeah, okay, I don't really think that's that much skin off his back. I mean, he was already working for Miss Wu, who, I don't understand that. So, Sonny was like, oh, well, if you're a disappointment to Miss Wu, then I'll hear about it. And you'll do what? And you'll do what? What are you going to do? You're going to, I don't, I don't think that Dex could sit there and take this guy. Okay. Even if he was in, let's say, full health bar, I don't think he could sit there and take this guy. So I'm just like, well, what are you gonna do if he disappoints you? I'm like, bro, you should be happy because right now it's just you and him. And I don't even know if Sonny could sit there and take this guy. Anyway, he leaves. Joss is fuming. So Joss, eventually she tracks down Trina. Trina's not there talking to um Trina's not there talking to Ava about why she went to go see Ryan. She wanted to make sure that Ryan was still not moving, not functioning really. His somewhat catatonic state. What she went down there, what she went down there and was asking a lot of questions, started talking about Esme. Seemed like you got a rise out of him as far as like his look of anger. Now Ryan did slip up, but she didn't see it because Ryan balled his one hand, his one fist, but she somehow didn't see that. I guess she was more focused on his eyes. Talking about, oh, well, Esme might have, died and stuff like that or whatever. And she leaves. She's there telling Ava that. Then Josh comes in. And Ava leaves. And Josh is all like, oh, well, Sonny's worse than I thought, and this, that, and the third. Now, again, the problem with her talking about this is that, boo, you knew exactly who Sonny was. You just didn't sit there and see it. It was all fun and games when your mom was happily married and in love with Sonny, and you kept calling him Uncle Sonny this and Uncle Sonny that. And oh, yeah, I'm pretty sure she probably used Sonny's name a couple of times to be like, hey, you know who I am, right? Because she had no problem sitting there doing it when she was walking up to the torturer. I'm calling him torturer because I forgot his name. But, now she's seeing, a glimpse of what he does. And now she wants to badmouth him and bad talk him and this, that, and the third. And I'm like, bro, stop. Just stop. Okay? Um, Trina does sit there and give her some advice as far as, you know, because she was upset that Dex didn't call the cops, and she was like, yo, listen, I hope he leaves and goes somewhere and he cares about his own safety and his life. And Trina was like, all right, yeah, I'm gonna save you from what I was doing, with Spencer. And just like, yo, leave him alone, leave AKA the bad boys alone. Okay, that's literally the speech that she was there giving Josh, which is funny because we all know that that's not going to work. Not just because we all know where Josh is going to be sitting there heading, but I mean, sitting there telling somebody to stay away from somebody else is just going to make them go towards that person even more. So there's that. David talks to Sunny, and she speaks highly of Dax saving her life and everything like that. But she does praise him for being proactive and doing what's necessary. And even though Sunny was like, well, what if I didn't get there in time? That's one of the things that when Sunny came in there, he was like, well, what if I didn't get there in time? I'm like, well, I mean, you left with somebody who, I mean, you never really worked with him. You got recommended. You don't know what this guy issue is. He may just decide to go crazy. He may, I don't know, not like the way that Dex was staring at him. You left him alone. You left him alone with a sociopath potentially. So TJ urges Willow because Willow comes to TJ, and Willow's like, yeah, it's not good. She looks at her results, and the numbers are not working in her favor. They're going the opposite way. And TJ's like, I think that you need to sit there and reconsider this whole not going for treatment. But Willow insists on doing it, and they go back and forth, and it gets a little kind of heated. They wind up hugging, and of course, Nina sees it. Now, Nina was talking to Curtis, and of course, one of the things that Nina loves to do is have Carly live in her head rent free. Carly does, and the pushback from the staff, and Joss, and how she's sitting there poisoning Donna and Avery with Sunny and everything like that. And of course, Curtis is sitting there talking about how Trina was whining about the opportunity that she got. Because let's be very clear, okay? I understand being a little bit peeved, but at the end of the day, Ava wanted to shut down the gallery. She thought it was a good idea, and Curtis' heart was in the right place. And of course, Trina got to sit there and whine and complain and this, that, and the third, and I don't want to sit there and take this internship. I'm like, okay, Trina, whatever. So they're sitting there talking about, the issues that they got going on, and eventually they want to part ways. And of course, Nina sees, TJ hugging Willow. So when Willow is working, she approaches her and she's asking a bunch of questions. And then she just basically says, hey, listen, I'm not going to sit there and judge what you and TJ was doing as far as that embracement of a hug or whatever. And then she says something else and she leaves. I'm just like, it's really sad. I mean, granted, this isn't the first time that she's seen Trina, that she's seen Willow and TJ hugging, or talking intimately or something like that. So this is just a pattern at this point. Now, I'm about to call him Chad do. How's his name? When Michael gets back with Dex, Michael's like, yo, here's your money. Go anywhere else, just leave Port Charles. Dex is like, no, I don't want to do that. We're way too close. We can use this as an advantage. And he seemed like he's motivated because he's like, yo, listen, I might have got away. And it might have been lucky for me. But who's to say the next person may not get lucky? May not have Josh or you come in and save him or save this person for what Sonny's going to do. He's like, no, he needs to go down. And he convinces Michael, you know what, listen, I knew, because he was like, I knew the risk. Michael didn't want to have that on his conscience. He's like, I know the risk. I want to do it. And now he feels that because Sonny made a mistake, he's going to be a lot more remorseful. more forgiving, letting down his guard, and that's the opportunity. He really is convicted as far as really want to take down Sonny. And is interesting because you look at it and you're just like, the thing in the show with Sonny is that we see Sonny has always been considered an ant. Sonny has always been considered an anti-hero. Okay, he is the best of a worst situation. Sonny may be bad, but you got people like Cyrus, you got people like Alcazar. I remember way back, Alcazar, I guess, was targeting Sonny or his people that he knew, and he shot up Kelly's. And Sonny was like, "You do realize that Diego, he also frequently goes there, right?" Sonny is the best of a bad situation. And this is why, for the most part, most of the cops, even though they don't like Sonny, they know that, well, he's, the position that he's in, if he was to leave or get taken out, somebody else would come in there and be a lot worse. You know, Sonny has always been the best of a bad situation. Let's not get it twisted. There's a reason why Sonny is in power, why he, protects your money and stuff like that. I'm not going to get into all the gory details, but let's just put it this way: Sonny, the stuff that they show Sonny does is the nice and anti-hero version. Sonny's gonna be there to protect the city from Cyrus and um, Anthony Sakara and stuff like that. But Sonny has done some really terrible and awful things. Um, yeah, he has a cold and with women and illegal substances and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, he says he keeps the violence down to a minimum. But he's still in that position because of things that he's done, not just unethically as far as whatever, but things he's done. I'm trying not to be as violent and as gratuitous as I possibly can. But if you watch any mob movie or whatever, or you know about that stuff, let's just put it this way: I understand why Dex wants to take him down. Now, that whole time that Trina was not there talking to Ava and Josh, of course, Esme was there with her little black cloak, like, she was one of the Siths from Star Wars. Now, towards the end of the episode, she did want to pay a visit to Ryan, and, Ryan, I was happy to see her because, the whole time, Ryan was not there angry. Well, he was angry at one point, and then he had this fantasy about her coming back and him grabbing her with one arm, and I'm just like, does nobody bother to take any sort of self defense classes? I'm like, I get it. He's bigger than her, but he also has, one hand. Um, he's like, oh, I'm gonna sit there and get revenge on you, but first, I'm gonna love you one more time. And I'm just like, okay, sure, we're doing this. Why not? Why the hell not? TJ was there talking to Curtis as far as how to give advice, and of course, Trina. I mean, of course, Curtis is in that same position as far as, Trina. And of course, CJ was like, listen, she's not going to be mad at you forever. This is just temporary. She's going to sit there and get over it eventually. I think that personally, Trina's blown this out of proportion, but whatever. But I mean, when TJ went to go see Curtis, what kind of information did he think he was going to get from him? I mean, at the end of the day, TJ understands why Willow's doing what she's doing. You know, given her history, you understand why she's doing what she's doing. What are you going to say to her that's going to convince her to do anything that's going to potentially endanger her child? I don't understand what sort of wisdom that was you was going to get from Curtis. I don't get that. And it's funny too because I was sitting there thinking, I'm like, I think I covered everyone. And of course I did not, because Carly is talking to a reporter about, what this beautification company, whatever, is doing to the cemetery and how wrong it is, and, final resting places, and, sticking up for the little guy because, the haves and the haves not. She gave the speech as far as fighting for justice for the cemetery. But the reporter was like, well, where were you 8 months ago when this thing was already passed? You know, how many times have you sat there and tried to visit this gravesite? Now you're coming up here now, and why should people listen to you? So she gives a speech. Um, Drew backs her up. She explains why she didn't get the notification as far as Jason handling stuff. So the reporter's like, all right, fine, we'll air it. Now, this whole time, Carly goes through more memory lane and she starts to questioning why she even actually has her last name. you know. And of course, he questions that with Drew, but Drew gives her an answer. I'm just like, well, do you want to be called? I think she's going to go with Bensonhurst because Quartermain is obviously out the question. Krentos is, well, what she's talking about. Roberts was an alias. I don't think she can really use any of those names. So I feel like she's going to go with Bensonhurst, but, changing her last name, I think it's just, I don't know what that's supposed to do. I mean, I guess it's supposed to be like some sort of independence thing or whatever. Oh, I'm moving on from Sunny and I don't have her last name, and that's fine. You should probably just take it off. But I'm like, I don't know. I guess I kind of look at it and I think about Valentine when he decided to keep the name Cassadine, which, to be honest, now I think about it, was kind of stupid. But I don't know. I guess in some ways it'd be kind of weird. And she can't call herself Jax anymore because she's not married to Jax. Um, but I guess I can see her going with Bensonhurst. Now, Carly did get some news as far as, because the reporter was like, listen, we're going to run the story, but there's some very powerful people that's not going to sit there and take too kindly to you opposing this group that's trying to, well, practically bulldoze the cemetery to for a highway to get closer access to the beach. Listen, I don't know why, but in my head I was like, man, if you tried to build something on top of that, like, I don't know, a restaurant or something on top of a grave site. Um, but yeah, she was like, yo, there's going to be pushback. And she gets a call later, Carly gets a call later on, basically saying that another group um, ran a story. They ran a story before Carly got her story out. Basically, just everything that Drew said was going to happen. Bringing up Carly's past, her mental illness, um, even probably the fact that no, she was married to Sonny and stuff. But they didn't. Well, they didn't bring up the Sonny stuff, but they did bring up the accident. Um, saying that she was responsible for that girl's accident that left two people dead and one person in a coma. So yeah, it pretty much just at this point they start coming back at her character. Now, I don't, I don't think that as far as the storyline is concerned, I'm enjoying this storyline to see Carly in a different element, seeing some of her history and how it affects her, and but at the same time, I'm just like, just take your mother's body. From what I understand, everyone else is, I'm assuming maybe a lot of other people's. I don't know. I guess I just kind of look at it and I'm just like, is this really a fight that you want to sit there? Like, she doesn't live in Jacksonville anymore. She doesn't really have a connection to the people there. She, as far as, from an emotional standpoint, she wants to be done with it. Okay, the minute that she got in Florida, she couldn't wait to leave. Okay, now you got this woman Peyton that is just an absolute 100% piece of human garbage. Um, that's throwing Carly's past in her face. Um, as far as her daughter and blaming it on her and not she's just, I'm not going to sit there and just rehash the whole thing. The point is, she's a human piece of garbage. And I'm just like, boo, take your mother's gravesite. If you want to sit there and pay for some other people's graves and stuff like that, as far as being relocated, do it and leave. I don't feel like this is a fight that's worth. Like, if she was trying to bulldoze, I don't know, a church or an orphanage or an animal shelter or something like that, or a senior citizens place, then yes, fight to your last breath. But this, really? You can't just be like, all right, let me just move the body to Port Charles where I'm going to be at, and I'm going to be able to visit her. And, you know, I don't feel like this is something that's really, truly worth it. But now she's facing a little bit of backlash, and it's only the beginning because we're doing this for better or worse. Oh, and one other thing, Michael made it clear to Dex to stay away from Joss because he was like, listen, even if Joss found out and wanted to help, her little sisters wouldn't be, like her little sisters need Joss. Okay, Michael is more than willing to sit there and be the bad guy, the villain in the situation, but you know just let her be more of an innocent to the kids or whatever. And Dax was like, oh, well, I'm just gonna sit there and stay away from her. Yeah, okay, sure. Let's see how well that works out. I feel like that's about it. I really do. Before I go, I will be going live tonight. Still trying to decide. I want to go live at 6, but I want to sit there and try to do it maybe before 6, so like 5:45. It depends on when this actually finished loading. So when this finished loading and it updates, I check the power of my battery. Um, then I'll sit there and post the time. But I always sit there and try to post it an hour in advance, this way I can give people time to know that I'm going to be going live, so they can come through. Anyway, with that being said, I'm going to go. I want to thank you so much for watching. Be safe, and I'll see you in the next video.